Welcome back to the third and final episode of my Prep for Trail Hero series. If you guys haven't been following along, we are taking what's left of a TJ rock crawler. We're loading it up here in Pennsylvania and shipping it the whole way across the country to Utah for Trail Hero 2023. Last year, me and Alex, we went out there with his Jeep. I had such a good time that it only made sense to finish my Jeep and take it out there and go wheeling with the boys. Another thing that's really cool, if you can't tell by the thumbnail or tell by my t-shirt I'm wearing, the team over at Aux Beam sent out a care package. They want us to be safe. They want us to be seen. We're gonna be doing some night wheeling out there. Really excited to go ahead and try that out. Here in Pennsylvania, we really don't get to do it much. None of our parks are open, 24 hours. You can't ride at night. So they sent over a care package with rock lights and a whip light. So we can look like a cool little RC car out there carving up the dunes while we're in Utah. So in this video, we are gonna be hooking all of that stuff up and testing it out. Unfortunately, the weather here in Pennsylvania is trash right now. It's been raining for like 3 days straight. There's a hurricane moving in and it is nothing but rain. So if we have to test them in the garage, we have to test them in the garage. I was hoping to get this thing outside and give you guys some killer shots. But obviously, when we're in Utah, you'll get to see this thing all lit up. Without further ado, let's get to installing some rock lights. All right, here is everything as it comes out of the box. Well, except for this, I did already open up some of it. It does come all nice and packaged. They do a good job about that. But me, I had to open it up and start playing with at least something. And seeing these giant whip lights, I already tried it out and I know it works. But we have two giant 5-foot whip lights. I think it's like 250 different patterns and colors that these lights are capable of. So these are definitely universal. As far as mounting goes, I went with this additional clamp that you can get with the kit. It's gonna allow me to mount it to my roll cage. My roll cage is 1.75 inches. I know this definitely fits. I'm pretty sure in the description for the mount, it says how small or how big you can go, but double check your tubing or your cage where you plan on mounting it before you order that clamp. Next, going to be all of these individual rock lights. And if you count it all up, 12. So what it's gonna look like when you pull it out. And here is the connector for it, which plugs right into the controller. So this install should be extremely easy. Now, the reason for that is I already run the Aux Beam controller. The only thing I'm gonna be doing is supplying power and ground up to that controller to operate these. What we're gonna do right off the rip, we're gonna start with the rock lights, get them all laid out, kind of get an idea of where I wanna put them. We'll just start laying them out on the Jeep. Majority of the lights are placed, in theory where they need to go. This one I know is gonna mount somewhere down here off the frame. These are set up because they're gonna go under the Jeep in these locations. Same with this one, it's gonna go back here in the rear wheel well. Up here is the only one that's a little bit goofy. With the kit, it has two different styles. There's a flat, but then there's also this one that's tapered. I'd assume it's designed for roll cages, but tubing in general. So since this is all open, went ahead and just mocked this one up already. The zip ties should be more than strong enough to hold it, and it ain't going anywhere. So I think we're gonna use that style on both. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and start mounting all these, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're up there.
2 hours later.
Just got all the rock lights mounted up underneath the Jeep and pretty happy with the way everything came out. Obviously, I already showed you guys this one. This is gonna be our center light that points right down at the tire. The rest of them are pretty much in standard location. A couple up underneath the slider where they're not gonna get hit. Got one in the rear wheel well, but one that I wanted to show you guys is this little aluminum bracket I had Alex make for me. It actually shines down just right past the ram and down to the ground. So those ones turned out pretty trick. And then, like I said, the rest are pretty much in standard location. I have 5 down each side, one directly in the front, one directly in the rear. Now, one thing you do have to take in consideration while running your rock lights is the way the companies sell these kits is all of the wiring, they generally make them equal length, which is pretty long, which great if you have to put lights way out back. The downside is a lot of your shorter ran wires, well, you're either gonna have to bundle them up, zip tie them, or you're gonna have to cut and shorten them. So I don't have time to cut and shorten them before Trail Hero. So what I ended up doing was mounting the controller in the center of the Jeep.
I'll show you where it's at then. But that way, all of my wiring pretty much has an equal length run to the controller. So the install itself actually turned out pretty clean. I had to do a little bit of bundling. Maybe in the winter, we'll shorten some stuff down, make it a little bit cleaner. The wiring side of this, super easy. Just whenever you route it, make sure you run those wires nice and tight. Make sure you have everything tucked up so it's not hanging down or getting smashed on a rock or pinched. And that's it. So let me show you where I have this controller mounted back here behind the seat.
My controller is actually mounted, hold on, give you some light. My controller is actually mounted back here in that dead space behind my seats. What's really nice about it, it's a really good central location on the Jeep, so all the wiring actually ran up there pretty clean. If I ever need to scan those QR codes, easy to get to. They're not tucked underneath the seats, and wiring it from there really wasn't bad. You're gonna have a power and a ground that you have to run up front. So underneath the console here, I just ran some wiring the whole way up through a grommet in the firewall, and it pops out right here. If you're looking there, that's right. There is actually 4 wires. Off the rock lights, you need 2, and off of the whip light, you need 2. So thinking ahead, I decided just to use 1 piece of loom. My whip light is also now wired in that loom as well. I went ahead and stuck the Aux Beam whip light mount back here on the rear of the cage. It's the quick disconnect style, so I can take the whip light off whenever I want, and the wiring just stays right here. So same thing for that. It just has a small little controller. It just needs power and ground, and there's a QR code on it that you scan for the app. I think that's about it. All I have to do, take all 4 of these wires. We're gonna hook it up to some power and grounds inside my control panel here. And then we just wait for dark so we can fire these lights up and see how they look. But in the meantime, I'm not gonna waste any time. Cody, the Ultra YJ, I had him do a little special project for me. So here's a fun little segment. Finally dark enough that we can take the Jeep out and show off these lights. But as far as that decal goes on the roof, well, you guys are just gonna have to wait until I lay this thing over on its side to be able to see what it is. So in the meantime, I've been packing the Jeep, getting it ready to leave to get on the trailer tomorrow. But let's go show off these lights and wrap up this video. Well, there you have it, a quick install video of the Aux Beam Rock lights and one of their whip lights. Now, in the future, I may install the other whip light. It just depends how bright it really is. I have a feeling 1 is going to be plenty sufficient. 2 would just look kind of cool. So, I want to take this time to thank Aux Beam for making this video possible. It's because of companies like them that I'm able to do what I do and produce content for you guys. So, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. This was the final part in my Prep for Trail Heroes series. So that means the next video that you guys are gonna see after this one
is gonna be this Jeep out in Trail Hero partying with all the boys. As far as those videos go, I do plan on making the Trail Hero video and talk to a couple homies that are out there with sweet builds, and might do a couple walk around, rig, build, breakdown video style things. I don't know, I don't do them often, but figure that'll be easy content for me to make while I'm out there. So if you guys aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that button now. Leave it a big old thumbs up. Catch you guys at Trail Hero next week. Later.